400 church leaders have come together to call on the government to ditch ACT's contentious treaty principles bill. But Christopher Luxon says his hands are tied, revealing the bill is the issue that dragged out talks with his coalition partner. Senior political correspondent Jenna Lynch has more.
A mere 4 days after Ki Tuheitia was laid to rest, and only a week after the Prime Minister honoured his call for kotahitanga unity.
We heard you, kotahitanga unity. This is the pathway forward.
Today, Cabinet considering the controversial Treaty Principles Bill.
How does considering the Treaty Principles Bill on your first day back at Parliament since then marry with that?
Well, what I'd say to you is that I do believe in kotahitanga, I do believe in unity, but it doesn't mean that we're going to agree on the best pathway to get there. There'll be very many differences of opinion around how to do that.
We've been working on this for a long time. We actually delayed it a week out of respect to the passing of King Tuheitia, but we do at some point need to carry on the business of government.
The timing hasn't gone unnoticed.
I think it speaks for itself. You can't say something on Wednesday and then go do something else on the following Monday that's antithetical to what you said on Wednesday. It doesn't make sense.
Archdeacon Stephen King was one of more than 400 church leaders who wrote an open letter to the government today opposing the bill.
I struggle to think of an issue that we could get 400 of us to sign up to. And so that is a real reflection of the real and abiding concern that we have.
The letter called on MPs to do everything they could to prevent the bill from reaching Select Committee.
Obviously the church is about pursuing peace, speaking truth to power, and so we have a prophetic role in making sure that it is known that we don't agree with the path that this is heading down.
Well, I've welcomed them to have this discussion. I just don't welcome them saying other people shouldn't be able to have it, which is what they do when they say that the bill should be trashed before it's even seen the light of day.
He also said it's anti-democratic for us to be involved, and surely people speaking out when they have concerns about the direction that the political debate is going in is a very central part of the democratic process.
National and New Zealand First have both said they will not support the bill past first reading, but ACT demanded it in coalition negotiations.
You know that our coalition negotiations took some time. That was a big part for why it took a while for us to get there.
So the government must take it to a Select Committee process to fulfil the deal, even though it will eventually fail.
ACT would have liked to have had a full public referendum after a Select Committee process and law going through Parliament. That's not going to happen.
The Prime Minister would do well to throw this out now, because we could have 6 months of mayhem ahead of us. That's the problem here.
Seymour will not back down, even as the rest of the government distances itself.
Why do you think you're right? Why are you the expert?
Because the values that I'm propounding are timeless, that each of us have the same basic dignity.
Even just in recent months, we've already seen the emboldening of certain views that sometimes lurk below the surface, and those have come forward in really damaging ways.
And now that Cabinet has agreed on policy, the debate that's been bubbling under the surface may soon boil over.
Jenna's with us now. Kia ora, Jenna. What more have you learned about what Cabinet agreed to today?
So they still haven't drafted a bill, but from what I understand, David Seymour has made a concession around Principle 2 of his Treaty Principles Bill. The way that he initially drafted that was that the New Zealand government will honour all New Zealanders in the chieftainship of their land and all their property. Now, through the Cabinet process, that has been amended to specifically spell out iwi and hapu rather than all New Zealanders, and it will include taonga such as culture and language as a part of that. David Seymour may feel like that makes it a more palatable bill, but the Prime Minister stuck to his line today. He is maintaining that the National Party will not support this bill past first reading, past their commitment that they made, and he made it crystal clear that David Seymour will not be getting the referendum here's after. That doesn't mean there won't be a public debate, though, because if they pass this bill past first reading, it goes to Select Committee. That's where the public gets to have their say on this in New Zealand. Here's the good, the bad and the probably somewhat ugly sides of the treaty debate.